Okay, so the last episode, I told you I just wanted to find a way maybe to wrap it all up and bring us to a place of, where we're in the exact same space at the exact same time. So let's actually start here because, we've been all about the habit of you. We went down the lane on helping you understand the deep integration between self-image, self-knowledge, and self-esteem. We kind of broke that apart. We talked a lot about conditioning versus divine design, right? Just to show you the difference in this performance-based idea and this divine design that is purposeful by nature, right? It operates according to its purpose, according to its design. So where I thought we would do our wrap is, part of the reason I wanted to start with a series like this is I wanted people to really have a sense of the criticality of understanding who and what you are. One of the things that maybe haunts me is the thought, what am I capable of? And the thought, what am I capable of, actually comes from a sense of knowing who I am, right? So if you're one of those people that are like, man, I just know I'm meant for more, or maybe, I keep running into this dead end, I keep feeling like I should be doing this, or X, Y, and Z, that's really important. That's important data, because what it means is in the current suit you're running in, right, something about that is still amiss, which is why you can't begin to operate in the doing because the being hasn't been settled yet. So those little moments where, there's a bit of a crisis, I'm not sure, that identity crisis we said could be a real gift because it just begins to awaken you to this is not it. This is not your final destination. This is not who you are. So we've talked a lot about that. But one of the things that's a really great place to close is the book of Genesis. And Genesis for me is probably one of the most profound places you will find. Just a seed plot of the entire Bible is in the one book. But if you remember, the original temptation and the original deception was around, if you do this, you'll be like God. And if we just stopped at that deception, that there's something we must do to be like God. I mean, let's just think about that. Jesus said, if you've seen me, you've seen the Father. The Bible says, as he is, so are we in this world. I mean, there's this beautiful, let us make man in our image, after our likeness. So with all of those beautiful truths, yet there's this thing that we keep returning to where we believe there's something we must do to be like God. That who I am is not enough. Who I am is not like God. Do you know the only way that trick worked for Eve is even though he didn't say you're not like God, he said, if you would do this, God knows you'll be like him. So the subtle message, right, was you're not like God, which is why you need to do something to become God-like. Do you know how many of us, how many things we keep trying to do, right, in an effort to be like God? What if it's true what he said, right? You're made in the image and likeness of God. What if there's nothing to do? What if it's the realization of our being? And if we can begin to live from that, that changes our doing, right? Imagine the liberty that comes with no more dress rehearsals, no more practices, no more performing, no more attaching my sense of value and worth to something that changes on a dime. What if it's really understanding that I am sacred and that I have a true significant impact just based on design alone, not effort, design. So the deception, I believe it wasn't just a deception then, I think it's the greatest deception now, is that we are not like God. And we have to do a lot of things to become like God. And that list never ends. So here's the statement I'll leave you with. That lie has been perpetuated a million ways. And it has developed a performance-based culture and a performance-based identity. And if you remember the story where Elijah and the prophets of Baal are, they're both trying to get their attention of their God. If you remember, the prophets of Baal are cutting themselves and doing all kind of things trying to get their God to answer. I wonder if you can see, even in that analogy, how busy we are trying to gain the attention of God, or how busy we are trying to become like God, or how busy we are trying to please God, as opposed to understanding who we really are. I think when people ask the question, who am I? I think it begs a deeper question. What am I? And then from who and how have I arisen? I think those questions need a great extraction. And so the hope of this particular series has been really simple. It's been to get you to think differently about who you are. It's been in an attempt to get you to begin to extract your sense of self from all of these knowns, right? All of these labels, all of these expectations, all of these public opinions. It's been meant to get you to begin to see yourself in the light of a divine design, in the light of the truth, which is you and I are made in the image and likeness of God. And there isn't anything you can do about that. There isn't anything you have to do about that. And it's beginning to understand that every divine design, everything that God creates with an identity, with an ideal in his mind, not our mind, it answers three things. It answers what it is, it answers why it is, and it answers how best it functions. Guess what? If you and I begin to sink into the true understanding of the realization of who and what we are, not only will our divine design move us into just the natural outgrowth of that encoding, like the flower, it blooms on its own. Nobody makes the flower bloom. It just aligns to its beauty and its essence, and the simplicity of its purpose just unfolds. Can you imagine unfolding effortlessly? Well, I can. And that's part of the reason I started this podcast, because I want you to have a sense of the effortlessness that comes with true authenticity, that comes with true alignment. And that, to me, is worth talking about. So when we come to understand that it's not about conditioning, it's about encoding. It's not the shaping out there, it's the design in here. And if you and I will realize and come to the place where that realization is so profoundly clear, not only will it change the way you live, it'll change the way you love, it'll change the way you lead. And in so doing, not only will the sacred give rise to the significant, you will understand that everything out here is governed from something in here. Remember, all of this is output. This is the input. You cannot change the output without changing the input. So your homework, should you choose to accept it, and I know you will because you're a good student, is to take this series and begin to just allow yourself the privilege of not having to succumb to one more false idea of you. And I want you to sense the liberty that is available when you stand in the light of this truth, that you are, by divine design, you are the sacred, and you are profoundly significant, and you are made in the image and likeness of God, and as he is, so are you. And there's nothing you have to do to be like God. When the truth of that revelation lands in you, gosh, will it change the way you're living. And it will change every relationship connected to you, how you're showing up in the world, what you contribute to the world. It is game changing. So listen, it's been a pleasure hanging out with you. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. You won't want to miss this next series, because we're going to keep talking about your divine design. And believe you me, you're going to want to know about how uniquely and beautifully sacred this design is. So it's been incredible. I'm Dr. Veronica. This has been the Sacred Significance Podcast. Thank you so much for joining. I'm looking forward to seeing you again.